Okay, so today we're going to work on more of a stretch routine. I myself got away from stretching many years ago because of a study that came out showing that there was less power output from stretching before an event or a workout. This led to many trainers not stretching anymore in fearful of performance, and led to the degradation of the human performance in general, because the human body tightens up regardless of exercise or sport play because of repeated patterns over and over. So now, being in jiu-jitsu for so many years and MMA before, my body is wound up very, very tight in different patterns. Yes, because of jiu-jitsu, I am a lot more flexible and limber in a lot of areas, but also because of my sport, the demands of my sport have caused me to have poor posture in my thoracic region because of this, and my hips are rotated forward. We're going to work on upper back today, and we're going to work on hip flexors and hamstrings mostly. All right. This is a simple routine. This is not long and drawn out, but it is more a stretch routine. It is important to always stretch when cold because you need the muscle to elongate. We don't want to warm the muscle up and then try to stretch. It feels better. It feels like we're getting a better range of motion, but we're not actually eliciting the response that we actually need in our body to open ourselves up, okay? So simply, let's get started and get moving, all right? So remember, this is a lot of premises upon yoga and mobility, yet we're going to hold some of these positions longer than normal, okay? So first thing we're going to start with is we'll lay on our back, and we're going to collapse our knees to the left. We're going to pancake our hands together, and we're going to simply bring our hand all the way over to the other side. Our goal is to actually get our shoulder to touch the opposite side. We're not worried about letting the hand touch. You can rotate the hand over and touch, but lose the effectiveness of the movement if the shoulder is not collapsing onto the ground. We want to get our hips to stay forward while rotating our upper body all the way to the other side. All right, and on the 10th one, we're going to just look over and hold it. Okay, we're going to go with the other side. You can simply just turn to the other side, but for purposes of the camera, so you can see. I will now rotate over, sandwich my hands, and release. And there it is, my back popped. Sometimes you will feel it in your lower back pop. Sometimes you will feel it in your upper thoracic spine pop. It does not matter where it pops. Your body will remind you where it needs to move. Don't force anything. If it becomes extremely uncomfortable, it is not necessary. But you are stretching, so you do want to hold it and create some range of motion that is just a bit uncomfortable. We're not trying to push ourselves to the point where things feel like they're tearing or coming apart. So this is going to help with the upper back region, which is what causes a lot of us to have issues in grappling. because of the rounded shoulder area, okay? Also understand that you can actually not stretch yourself out effectively without proper breathing. We always want to breathe in through our stomach. So let's practice this. Some people find it a lot easier belly down. Some people find it easier on their back. I'm going to demonstrate it on my back so you can see it more effectively. As you can see, normally I put my hands here. I want to breathe through my stomach, in my stomach, out my stomach. We always want to work on breathing in and out through the nose. That is your number one way of breathing. No matter how tired you get, this is always the resort way to go back to the breathing. Extreme worst case scenario, do you go in through the nose and then out through the mouth, okay? Once you breathe in and out through the mouth, there's an inadequate oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange. This will cause you to either hyperventilate, never, so say, catch your breath, and it will keep you in a flight state, which means your heart will always stay elevated, okay? It is important as a fighter, a jiu-jitsu player, a judo player, a wrestler, a sambo, you need to breathe in and out through your nose to drive the heart rate down, okay? If you're unable to do this, you will work at an exacerbated state, which means you will always tire yourself out, lactic acid will build up, and you will be unable to perform at your max capacity, even though you may be in shape. Another thing we're going to work on is that we want to breathe and fill in the sides of our body, all right? We want the air to come in right here. Some people down here in white trash land call it alligator breathing, okay? Kind of look like the belly of a bullfrog. We want to breathe in and then hold it and breathe a little bit more and really try to expand those sides out. Now, as a big component of breath of fire, this is a type of yoga breathing where they breathe inhale, 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. 4 seconds in, hold it for 4 seconds, then 4 seconds out. I stopped doing this after reading more and more research where holding the breath actually causes an elevated heart rate and actually can cause an influctuation of the carbon dioxide exchange, all right? So you don't want to do that, okay? You hold your breath when you go underwater. There's no other reason to hold your breath, okay? If you don't hold your breath underwater, you die. There's no other reason to hold your breath above water, all right? So we always want to focus on in and out through the stomach. We're going to do this now for 20 seconds. We also want to pick our knees up, drive our lower back into the floor so we can kind of feel more of an exchange opening up. Really try to push the air out through the sides. Good. Okay, now that we're on our back, we're going to rock, all right? Let me see if I can do it to where you can see me a little bit more effectively. I'm going to simply cross my feet where I feel comfortable and grab my knees. If you want to grab your knees, like in wrestling or jiu-jitsu with a grip, that is perfectly fine also, but we don't want to make it to where you're so wound up tight you can't move. So I like to just do it like this. I'm going to simply rock myself up with my legs, and then roll back. What this is doing is getting the spinal fluid inside the spinal column to move up and down, up and down. This is going to keep our spinal health in check, okay? Now we're going to build upon this move. So let me get back so you can see a little better. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to roll back and go to our left shoulder, okay? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll back and also let my right leg cross over my body. I'm going to roll to the other side. I'm simply going to just do this 5 times on each side. You breathe in, now breathe out. You notice I'm also staying on my toes. I'm mimicking my sport, okay? But by doing that, I'm also beginning to now stretch my abdomen open, okay? So now let me show you what's gonna happen. As we roll to one side, we're going to come back into this seated position with one leg out, all right? I said this was a stretch class, so there will be some movements applied into the stretch. So I'm holding my knees, or I can place my hand down, whatever you're comfortable with. I'm going to roll and then come back, and I'm going to reach over and stretch. Remember, deep breaths in through the stomach, making sure that you are relaxing. Then I'm going to come back to the left side, touch, come back over, and hold it. You're going to hold it and you're going to stretch the hamstring. Come back up, touch, come back over and grab and stretch the hamstring. You can either reach over and grab the ankle, or you can grab the foot. Come back up, touch, and then grab the ankle. Make sure you really hold this. If you're able to grab the foot, you can bend your knee, grab the toes or the side of the foot, then straighten the leg out. This will really help stretch your lats and your hamstring at the same time. Okay? So now we're going to simply move on to the other side. Okay? So we will come over, touch, and then stretch on this side. Right hand over, grabbing the ankle. We're getting a good long stretch in the lat and a good stretch in the hamstring. Come back up, touch, and then grab again. You're gonna hold it. Remember, I can bend my knee up, grab the outside of my foot, and then drive my heel away from my body, creating a good stretch in the hamstring and the lats. Good. Okay. So our next one is we're going to raise our hands up, thumbs pointing backwards, up, and then back down. So what we're going to do is we're going to do it 5 times, and every time we come up, we're going to push our chest out. Now you'll see how bad I'm locked up, and you'll be amazed on how much you might be locked up as also. I'm going to drive in and up and try to get my chest to come out. My goal is to get my ears parallel in line with my arms. So I breathe in, down, breathe out on the way up. Good. Okay, the next one, I'm going to, same thing, thumbs up, slide out in front, and I'm gonna drive my armpits directly to the mat, dropping my chest down. If you feel that you've gone as far as you can, now you will begin to take your hands, fingers wide, spread them out onto the mat. Really grip your fingertips, not your hand, but your tips, into the mat. Scoot your hips back further and drive those armpits to the mat. Try not to think about using your chest, but use your armpits. Turn your armpits out and down. Good. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, first we're going to work on our ankle mobility. So a lot of issues that people have mainly in life in squatting is because their ankles don't bend enough, okay? If this is also a problem for you, you're going to have a lot of problems with heel hooks and things like that and foot locks. So what we want to do is keep our heel driven to the floor, and we want to push our knee as far possible as we can without letting that knee come up, okay? And we're going to rock back, and then we're going to hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Now we'll switch sides. Move to the next ankle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember to drive your heel down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Ankle mobility is extremely important, and it also helps us move into our next movement, okay? So now we're gonna work on the psoas muscle, all right? So we're gonna get into the same position where we're up, okay? Notice that where your leg is at back here, all right? Naturally, when I get to the position, my leg kicks in. And this may happen to a lot of people, especially in grappling, because this is a common position to them to have their foot ready to sit back in and do whatever. So what happens is we begin to get weak in certain glute areas. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to make sure that my leg comes way out as much as I can, all right? You can even put it flat, all right? That's gonna create even more of a strain now, okay? Now, I'm gonna hold my knee and let myself shoot forward. This is about as far as I can go without tearing off my leg. If I'm to bring my leg here, look, now my heel came up, but I can move in. Watch the difference. I can't move now. So I want to hold this position. Good. Then I'm going to release, and I'm going to lean back into it again. Now, every time I release and lean back into it again, I should get a little bit more range of motion. Make sure that that heel is staying on the ground. If the heel comes up, you're no longer stretching the psoas muscle. All right? Now, I'm going to switch sides, come in, see how my foot start to do that automatically, so we'll push it back out. I can feel it stretching already really, really hard. Drive my heel to the floor, and simply just push my hips forward. Back up. Okay, so those are a simple few stretches that you can easily do. Also, there's a lot more you can do, but something to really pay attention to. I went through this sequence fairly fast. It seems slow for some people, but some of these positions that I'm holding, I would highly recommend just picking 2 or 3 of the moves that we did and holding it on each side for 2 reps for actually 2 minutes at a time. There's a very good Olympic gymnast coach, and I watch a lot of his videos, and he actually has his gymnasts hold positions for 5-minute stretches. And they're pretty limber for a reason, okay? So it's very important to get stretching in on your off days because you're gonna be tight the next day. A good warm up or anything like that is not necessary. You're going to negate the process of stretching in your body. Now, after you're done stretching, feel free to go get light jogs in, light conditioning work, things like that to help facilitate with your recovery. But when it comes to stretching, you need to be cold and you need to be methodic and you need to hold those positions. So like I said, today I held them for 5 seconds or so, and sometimes that's just all I can do. Other days I'll come in here, I'll pick 3 stretches, and I may hold each one anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. I hope this helps you out.